All right, we're gonna get started. Yay, I think I figured it out. Welcome everybody, yay. I'm so excited to be in with you guys. I'm going to open up my file. Several of us just got back from Disneyland and we are so stinking excited. It was so much fun. I can't even begin to tell you how much fun it was. Can you guys still see me? Okay, now I lost, there we are again. All right, and so we really wanted to just talk to you tonight about host coaching. And so if you have any problems, you know, definitely let us know, but we just want to make sure that you're in a nice, quiet spot. Can you guys see the screen? Can you see the screen or can you only see my people? You can see the screen? Okay. All right, here. You should be able to see that. Okay, share screen. Here we go. Ta-da! Can you guys see it? Yes? Shake your head yes if you can. Okay, good. All right. So welcome. My name is Jennifer Courtney and I'm an advanced director from the Indianapolis area. I've been with the Pampered Chef for 15 and a half years and I've done over 2,600 parties. Last week's call to action was you were to practice your booking lines for the welcome, guest interaction, shop and share with one other person in this group and with 2 other adults. You were to observe a strong seller's show, make 15 contacts a week outside the show, otherwise known as your power hour, fill out your 90-day tracker and call your director after every party, and to do the CAN-I, which the CAN-I again is constant and never-ending improvement. And that was to take the Bookings Abound training course. So I would love to hear from someone who did a power hour and what your results were. So who will tell me? And don't make me call on you. Somebody speak up. You have to unmute yourself. Nobody did a power hour last week? Anybody? Kaylee, did you do a power hour last week?
Yeah, I did.
Talk to me.
I did my power hour. I had a show that actually was last Friday. So I was able to contact some of those people, but then also I contacted old contacts to book some shows when I come into Indiana as well.
Fabulous, because you're coming into Indiana to go to
conference.
Yay! So Kaylee lives in Alabama.
I live in Loxley, Alabama, which is near Gulf Shores.
Yeah, and so the rest of the team's up here in Indy where she used to live. So she is going to come up here, do some shows, and then go to conference with us. So I would love everybody to clap your hands and give her a big woohoo. Yay! Fabulous. All right. Who observed a strong seller show? Were all the strong sellers in California? All right. Did anybody practice their booking lines for the welcome, the guest interaction, shop and share this week?
Yes.
Yes? So tell me some results that you got from that. Don't make me call on you again. Megan? No, Megan? Oh, girls. Be strong. Share with me. Dead air.
We just practiced all that at recipe night.
Do what?
We just practiced all that at recipe night.
Yay! I hear Susan's voice. So that's fabulous. Tell us about it.
I don't know if any of my team members can talk because they're probably all driving home and listening to this in the car. But we actually sort of did a round robin at recipe night where we just each tag teamed, and then one person did one part of the beginning and one person did the next part, and so we shared ideas for what you could do in your closing and your opening and your shop and share. It was great because we got to hear what other people do.
That's fabulous. Yeah, thank you, Susan Warshay, for sharing. We had recipe tonight as well, and but all my recipe night girls just stayed at my house. So we have 4 people in attendance, and we're all having leftover sangria from our salad and sangria. We figured we had a whole gallon quick stir pitcher, so we're just all staying. So.
Well, maybe if I had had sangria, we would have stayed, but I guess that's my mistake.
Awesome. Okay, well, don't forget to click to mute and unmute yourself, and then please mute again after you're done speaking. All right, so far you've heard from Brenda Copy, who showed you how important it is to all work together, encouraging one another, and developing our belief system. Now remember, if you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right. So Brenda challenged us to affirm ourselves daily and surround ourselves with people moving in the same direction we are. So we learned that we're all just geese, and if we all fly together, we can go further, right? Everybody Hong Kong, you can Hong Kong, Hong Kong. All right, next we heard from Dee Weir. And Dee told us umpteen ideas to go prospecting and looking for shows and leads away from our parties. So who's handing out their 5 to 10 minis a week still? Yay! If you're not muted, you can say, yay, I am. And so this is not just a 2-week idea. This is a lifestyle, gals. And you definitely want to be doing that. So are you talking to your postman, your grocery clerk, your hardware guy, your bank teller, your waitress? Shows and leads are everywhere. And there are people who eat. Everywhere people who eat, there's leads. So are you going to garage sales? Remember, she told us to go to garage sales and hand them out at people who were sitting there, and also hand them out to people as they're walking around, or have a garage sale. She also said to talk to people inside the store and start targeting your younger people as well. And then Dee gave us an A to Z list of people to contact to book shows. Last week, we heard from Corey Arnell, who told us that every which way to get shows booked on your calendars at your parties. So who booked a buddy show? I want to hear about somebody who booked a buddy show. So go ahead. You have to unmute yourself.
I can't figure out how to do it on here.
Here.
So hi, I started messaging different people and talking to some friends, and I ended up finding a guy friend of mine, and he said, you know what, I can do this, and then his buddy's going to be his daughter. So they're going to kind of team up and do a show.
Great.
Yay.
Great. Yay. Okay. So who's booking 2 shows at every party? She told us, I was cracking up when she told it, because she said, you know, we need to start overcoming their no by giving them answers and giving them permission to book. And so she said, we got to talk so fast that they can't say no, which was cracking me up, because Cora could do it. How could you say no to that face? So we want to book 2 shows at every party. Why would you ever want to make 10 cold calls when you can talk to 10 warm bodies at a party? It's so much easier to book those shows at your parties. The key to having those 10 warm bodies show up at your party, and that's the key. The key is to have those 10 warm bodies to show up at every party. And that's where this week's topic comes in. Are you ready? Host coaching. Yay! Host coaching is the lifeblood of your business. And also you're going to find that it's a direct link to your cash flow. All right. So it flows through every aspect of your thriving business. Want to know where your bookings, your leads, and sales are? Look at your host coaching. Everything, and I do mean everything in this business after you book your first 6 shows revolves around host coaching. Now, because we flow around the word enough, so I know most of you are muted, but read these with me. I am enough, I have enough, I do enough. The rule of enough is simply that you have to do enough parties to get enough leads, to get enough shows, to get enough sales and recruits. And where does that begin? Say it with me. Host coaching. All right. This should look very familiar. Now, my first question to you is, would you rather show up and leave your house for a $50 paycheck or a $200 paycheck? Right? So 200, of course, right? So you've probably heard your director say, host coaching is where you earn your check. And at your party is where you pick it up. There's an echo, echo, echo. Everybody remute yourself. Okay. Host coaching is where you earn your check. At the party is where you pick it up. Hi, Susan. And so how totally true is that, right? I mean, it's seriously, that is where it all comes from. So when do we start host coaching? At the beginning, right? At the very beginning of the party. That's right. At the party is when you book the show. Now, Brenda showed you how to control your calendar with color coding so that it's very clear when they look at their party or go to book their party, which days you have open. So here's step one to host coaching. Make sure your host writes her own information down on her date in your calendar. There is way more ownership to the party when they write it down on their date. On my calendar, I have the acronym NEAT, N-E-A-T. I tell them not only do I want them to write it neatly, but I also need their name, email, address, telephone, okay? Then I ask them, are you on Facebook? Are you friends with the host? Do you text? Do you have a smartphone? Or a stupid phone. Then I ask her, when I need to talk to you for 5 to 10 minutes, what's the best time to reach you? These are all questions that I need to know on how to set her up. So I write down a T next to her phone number if she texts, an FBR for Facebook friend request on her square if she's on Facebook. When I friend her and she accepts it, I X out the FBR to let her know that we are now, or to let me know that we're now friends. If the party is within the next 2 months, I go ahead and I give her her packet and I host coach her that first call right there in person. It's much more effective and way more powerful. So don't worry about the time or the line, host coach her then. In my packet are 3 catalogs, 1 host planner, 25 mini catalogs, and I use those as invitations, 1 join us booklet, 1 fridge reminder sheet that I created, and 1 personalized magnetized business card. Okay? Now on the party planner sheet, I will fill out the host planner right there with them, in front of them, with the date and the time, etc. And then I go over the party checklist with her and help her to start thinking about a list of people. So the party checklist is awesome, and that starts to help her set her goals for things that she wants to get. Circle the $1,000 show on the back level and higher. Whatever you circle is where they're going to goal. So if you are only circling 500, they're going to have a 250 party. If you're circling, 700, they're going to have a 600, $500 party. So I circle everything over 1,000, and I write on their goal 25 orders, 15 people at the party, and 10 outside orders. And I always put a little smiley face looking down on Start Your Own Business. And I explained to her to get 25 orders, we simply need to invite 40 people per school, because 20 people will say yes and 15 will show up. If we just get 10 outside orders from the 25 people who can't make it, that's almost always a $1,000 party. Yay, right? And how many of you want more $1,000 parties? Yes. All right, then I ask them, would you mind getting $215 in free products? And they say, no. And I say, great, here's how we're gonna get those 25 orders. First of all, I have for you 3 catalogs. Now I want you to take these, the catalog that you had tonight, and I want you to take a black Sharpie to it. Highlight everything your little heart desires. And when I get to your house the night of the party, I want it dog-eared, highlighted, pages turned down. I want it to look like it was rode hard and hung out to dry, okay? So comb through this thing and make a big old list, because you're gonna need a kitchen extension by the time I get done with you with all the goodies that you're gonna get. Can you do that? The other 2 I want you to pass around at work and with church and with neighbors. And make sure to return to me when you're done with it. Or if you're passing it around at work, put a Post-it note on it with Jane, when you're done, give it to Mark. And Mark, when you're done, give it to Susan. And et cetera, et cetera. So no one can think they can hijack your catalogs. Can you do that? Okay. I was just told that my computer is slow, so I need to go slow. Are you guys all seeing it as I'm seeing it? Shake your head yes if you are. Okay, cool. All right. Then I tell them I'm going to send you a sheet of stickers that have all your information on it already included on them. And I'd like you to put them on the mini catalogs that are in your packet and hand them out. Now, side note, if I'm mailing the packet, then I pre-sticker all of them for my host. Tell the host that if she's going to mail them, they need to go in an envelope with a stamp, one stamp on them. If not, just hand them out. And it has all your show information already on there for you. I will always recycle your leftover mini catalogs, but I always hope that you don't have any of them left for me to take. And then I ask her, can you do that for me? Now, there are a couple directors in this awesome group who mail out their host invitations for them. If that's what you want to do, then by all means do it. Your show cancellation will plummet dramatically, and your outside orders will increase. You just have to decide what works best for you in your area. Both Susan and Brenda have astronomically high show averages. Susan sends the invitation. Brenda includes an unstickered set of postcard invitations. So you just have to find what works best for you. Now, the next thing I want you to see is this fridge reminder sheet. So I'm going to go over the fridge reminder sheet, but then I also, again, include my magnet. And I think that having my picture on the magnet on the refrigerator creates a little bit more personality to it. It's not just some person. You can see my face. So I always include a personal picture business card with a magnet. You can get personal business cards with your picture on it at conference or other locations. So this is my brainchild that I developed to help keep you, my host, on track for our party. And I tell her, if we never spoke again for our party, if you followed this and when I showed up, we would still have a $1,000 show. So if you'd like to have that $215 for free, this is your and somebody needs to mute. All right, if you'd like to have that $215 for free, this is your golden ticket. I even included a magnet for you to put on your fridge. These are all the suggested dates that I suggest to do everything for our party. Now, I've done them over 2,600 parties, so you can trust me when I tell you that if you follow it, you'll get a boatload of free. And then I simply go through each step and fill in the dates with them. So at the very top, the first thing I have them do is create an account, and I want them to do that right away. When they create an account, then they will also be able to put in their host, when the party's over, they can put in all of their host benefits and put it in all with them. I never sat down with my host and put in orders with them together for their host order. My hosts always do it all by themselves, and then I get an email when they put it in. And so then they also can use that to invite people as well on the host program system. So first thing I want them to do is create an account. Then I want them to copy and paste and send the red stamp invitation picture that I created for them today. And I write today. And then I put a bunch of little details underneath that to do. And I'll talk about red stamp in a moment. Then I put the date that I want them to start handing out their invitation.
You have a laundry basket that can go up, please.
Somebody needs to mute. Someone's talking. All right, so on the day that I have them send out the invitations is typically, in perfect Pampered Chef world, 3 weeks before our show day, okay? The next thing I have them do is start collecting 5 to 10 outside orders, and I start having them do that 2 weeks before our party. Then I write shop for ingredients. I had so many hostesses who thought that they didn't have to buy ingredients for a long time. So I made sure that I put that on there so that they can make sure that they can get their ingredients in plenty of time, especially if you're doing a recipe that has an avocado in it, because some people just don't understand how to get a ripe avocado. All right. Let's see here. Susan, can you help Cora? She's having issues trying to get on. All right, so then after they shop for ingredients, I want them to post a reminder on Facebook for 2 days before our party, remind everybody 2 days before our party, and then I have them email me, and I'll show you the page that I send them the day before the show that tells me 6 things, and I'll talk about that at the end. Then I remind them again what time their party is scheduled at, what time I will arrive, when to get their last orders, which I try to close my shows within 2 or 3 days, and what day we're closing. And then on the bottom is my little extra piece. And that extra piece is if I could speak completely from the heart, and it's just talking about keeping the original show date, I tell them I'd be so very grateful, because her show will generate my future paychecks, and I'll do whatever I can to help them have $1,000 show, and just ask. I think that extra little blurb at the end just kind of helps explain it. All right, so the last thing I'd like to show you is this Jonas booklet. So I know starting your business may be the farthest thing from your mind right now, but starting your business with your party is the best time to take advantage of this opportunity. So I always tell her, look this over, and we'll talk some more about it the first time we talk. Is that okay? And I say, great, I can't wait to do our party. Remember, dog-eared catalog is your first order of business. So this really won't take that long. And again, when you've got that personal one-on-one eye contact with them, it just helps to start creating a relationship. People don't cancel with people they like, and people don't cancel with someone they feel a connection with. So if you start getting that connection going, your cancellation rate's gonna plummet. All right. Now, if I had to mail the show packet to them, then that's exactly what I would cover on the first phone call. We have the 24-hour script to share with you on the website, and we'll be helping you with this as well. So call them within 24 hours of receiving the packet. The host packet call, or the in-person coach, is the most critical of the host coaching process, because it gets them excited and thinking about their wish list of items, and gets them start connecting to the party. So make sure you cover your expectations thoroughly in that call. If you can get them to start wishing and seeing items in their kitchen already, then all you have to do then is give them the roadmap on, oh my gosh, you want all this stuff. Here's how we're gonna get it. So you gotta get them wishing in with that black Sharpie in that first catalog. Now, your next step after your host coaching process is to get them set up on your website. Now, I'm assuming that each of you know how to do that easily, but one thing I do want to, that I do to make things simpler for my hosts is I create a tiny CC for their, with their website. So you simply just have to copy and paste the show's URL into tiny CC. So once you set up the show on the show page, you'll see my little red marking there. You're just gonna highlight and copy that URL. That is the direct link for that hostess's party. So anybody with that link will have to get to bypass, go to your website, look for the show, or look for the host, click on the host name, then you're in the party, then you click shop. This bypasses all of that. So all you have to do is create this little URL. So Tiny CC is my favorite one to use, and I always use their first and last name as their extension. And this makes it much easier for your host to remember how to get to that, because it's just her name. So you take this big, long URL, you condense it down to tiny.cc/her name. So, so say it would be Jennifer Courtney, and I always capitalize the J and the C. So that is so much easier to text to people than that big giant URL. So I always create that tiny CC when I'm setting up the party, and I include it in her email from the website. So when you send the email from the website, so there's the show info page, all right, the guest list, the email. At the top, you can see the email before the show, and I will just copy and insert it right into that email from the website. Now, so as you can see, I just inserted in my email in the verbiage and then hit send. The best thing about this page is if you look at the bottom right, you can click on view email history and see if and when she viewed the email. And I always say that's sneaky, and I love it. All right? Did you guys all know that was there? Yes? No? Okay. So when I set them up on my website and send out that email, I put a W and an E1 on their calendar spot so that I know that I did it. When you're juggling several shows and adding more parties after you send out your initial batch of host packets, you need these little reminders, all right? So you can see I have my shows listed, and then you can see my NEAT, N-E-A-T, and then you can see all these little bitty acronyms, all right? Next, I create for them a red stamp. Red Stamp is an app on your smart device and a super easy way to create an invitation for your hosts to email, text, Facebook, tweet, and Instagram. You simply just select invite. So once you get the app on your system, then click invite, and it's the one that I have this one pointing next to. Then scroll through all your options for the invite picture that has these 3 little pictures on it. This one is my favorite. Now I will show you back here under collections on the top left, there is a Pampered Chef one, but it's very generic and it only gives you like 1 picture. We don't really have options yet to put in more pictures. So I like this one better because I can pull in 3 pictures. So when you upload your pictures to it, all you have to do is click the little plus sign or the little picture thing and then fill in your host information and click send. It'll allow you to pinch and open up and make smaller the pictures, okay? And then I just put in all their information there on the bottom, including their tiny CC. Now they won't be able to click the CC in this email, but at least they can see it. So I will text it, Facebook it, and email it to her. Once you click send, then click share digital cards. You can save it to your phone, and then, like I said, you can email it or you can iMessage it if you both have iDevices right to your host. If you don't have iMessage or you do and your host doesn't, then I will iMessage it from my iPad to my cell phone and then from my cell phone to my host. So I will send my host one and include an email format that will include a brief message at the beginning with their tiny CC link on it, so they simply just need to forward it out. I always give her all the verbiage. If you have an iPhone, like I said, you can iMessage it to them. Otherwise, again, I message it to my phone, or I just do that, and then I text it to them. You just want to make it easy for them to invite a ton of people. And I tell them when they post it on Facebook to tag me in it. When they email it out, add me to the email list so I can see how many people they're sending it to. All right, so you'll see all my verbiage up there, and I just make it so easy. Normally the tiny CC / Cindy Ice Bones is all blue. So whenever I send that to my host, all she has to do is simply forward it, and that link is in there. So all they have to do is click it, and then they can RSVP by clicking the link, or they can place their order. When I send the red stamp email, I'll text her and I write it down RSE on my calendar so I know that I've done it. I've sent the red stamp email. Best part about red stamp is once you send one, it goes into your folder on red stamp, and you simply have to just change the wording around a little bit to make it say, 1 more day to the party. Don't forget to come to the party. Thanks for coming to the party. 1 more day to order on the party. Whatever ones you want to create for your host. All the information is there. All you have to do is change a few words. All right, so we've given them their packet. We've set up their tiny CC. We sent them a red stamp. The last thing I do for them is create a Facebook event. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I went back and forth on these because we've all been invited to and completely ignored Facebook events. But with the inception of the virtual party, I revisited the idea and I started them back up again. I used their red stamp picture as their event photo. I make them the co-host of the party, and I'm just posting in my virtual parties. While I'm doing that, I've been copying and pasting into their events as well. And it's created a lot of excitement, and every single one of my June shows have people come into their parties. All right, so I also created a video of myself on my computer welcoming them to the party, how the cooking show is going to work, how fun it's going to be, and I drop booking and recruiting seeds. I tell them to comment on my video for an extra name in my on-time drawing. And I love it when they say, I watched the video, I want my extra name in the on-time drawing. I'm like, yes. All right. I can't believe how much action my June shows are having on the Facebook invitation simply because I'm posting video links from the home office YouTube files and product suggestions. The easiest way to find all your parties that you're hosting is just to click on that link on your events page. So when you click on events, you'll see my red arrow. You can just click on hosting. So if you saw it there at the top, it said hosting. At the time I took this picture, I was hosting 13 Pampered Chef events, 1 Bible study, and 1 graduation open house. So all I had to do was click on the ones I was hosting, and I could quickly copy and paste from post to post in each event utilizing just my backspace button. It literally took me less than 3 minutes to post on every one of those parties a quick link. So make sure again to post the direct tiny CC and the description with the instructions on how to order on that part of their computer. Super easy. I love easy. Okay, are you feeling overwhelmed? So let's recap. All I've truly done is handed out the packet or mailed it. Then I've gone over it thoroughly with my host to set up her expectations. Number 2, I set her up on my website, emailing her from the website with her tiny CC included in the email. Number 3, I created a red stamp invite and emailed it and texted it to her. And then I set her up on Facebook. Now, depending on how many parties or shows you're doing each month, this may be done over a couple of days, or you may be able to do it all in one day. Just create a system and stick to it, all right? And so again, you're gonna see there on my calendar, just another notation of how I keep track of what I did. Now, I do all my host coaching on Mondays and Thursdays. Every Monday, they get an email from me with their next step. On random Thursdays, I text or Facebook message them if I haven't heard from them, or if I am seeing them post on Facebook. My goal is to set up all my parties on my website and mail their packets on the 1st of the month. I try to create their red stamp on the 2nd day of the month and then set them all up on Facebook the 3rd day of the month. Sometimes if I know I'm going to be busy, I'll do it all in one day. Again, just making sure to track on what I've done for each host in my calendar. So as you saw on my calendar, when I set them up on the website, I put a W. When I emailed them their first email, I put an E1. When I sent them their red stamp email, again, RSE. Sent them, received the Facebook friend request, whatever. Set up a Facebook event, FBE. Give them a packet, X. If I text them, I put a T. If they text me back, I circle it. If I send them a Facebook message, I put a FB. If they message me back, I circle it, and so on. So at any time, I can look at my host's little spot on her calendar, on my calendar, and see who's responding and who's not. And I know when to call and when to verify that we're still on, or when to wahoo them because they're totally on it. Now, if you're a non-paper girl, then make sure to note it in your contact database, or maybe you just need to create a paper with check boxes on it for each host that you can look at all at one time. Whatever you do, just make sure to keep track. Now, this is a letter that I mail. It's about 1 week after I send the packet, and I always put their name on the top left with the happy face, and I put that next to it. This just reminds them to get started on the party and to get excited and to look at their packet. And then sometimes they get it, they get excited, and they just put it away. So this is just a gentle reminder to get started. So I handwrite their address on there for a personal touch. Handwrite as much as possible because they love the personality in it. Again, it just creates more of a person or a relationship with you. On the back of that host letter, I put this host challenge. 1 is a reminder to do the fridge sheet for the free Seasons Best Cookbook signed by all her friends at the party. So then I start challenging her to start getting her outside orders, and I do stress that these orders must be from people not at the party. I had one host have almost all her friends go home and order instead of ordering at the show because she wanted her bar pan. And I was like, Nice try though. So now I stress that so there's no confusion. So the fridge reminder sheet, I love walking in when I see that fridge reminder sheet on the fridge with every single one check marked. So she knows she's getting a free season's best signed by all her friends at the party if she does that. The 250 and outside orders from people not at the party get a free large cookbook like the All the Best. And then the $500 not at the show get a large stoneware bar pan instead. I just added on at the end of her host order and get it at her discount. That's weird. Sounds like somebody's hitting the bongo drums. All right. So the best way to keep track of your host coaching and knowing what to say next is to use the host coaching checklist. This is a wonderful tool created by the home office to help keep you on track for success. If you don't have a copy of this, don't worry. Your director does, and she'll be happy to give it to you. Now, this sheet will make sure that you do all 3 contacts with each and every host. And I make my consultants recite, don't I, girls? Every show, every host, every time. Each step tells you exactly what to say and what expectations to have with each host, or to set with each host. Now, this is actually the older version of the current one online. So again, your directors have this one. I like it a little better because it gives you way more verbiage. The only thing you have to watch is on there, it talks about getting only $20 to $40 off the kit. And the kit is currently $25 to $50 off. So that's the only thing you have to change really in your version, okay? The last week of their party, I send them their final email details. And so this email to them contains all the information I will need the day before our party. I remind them that I gave them a challenge to have their fridge, oops, made my screen small, to have their host fridge reminder sheet checked off, and for their free season's best signed by all their friends. And then again about the 215 outside orders to get their cookbook, or their 500 to get their large bar pan. And then I refer them back to their fridge reminder sheet with every communication that we have to keep them on target. So I just have them the day before our show email me back 1 through 6 to tell me their final count, which recipe they were getting or doing, the outside orders, blah, blah, blah. So this, I love it. The day before their show, I just get an email and it says everything that I need to know. And then I always just respond back to them and say thank you. Sometimes they text it to me. Sometimes they email it to me. Sometimes they Facebook it to me. You have to figure out which poison is their favorite form of social media. And then that way I will always watch them and see which way they're communicating the best. Now, after the party is over, make sure you sit down with your host because your coaching is not done yet. Show her where she's at and her next 3 levels. No matter what kind of party you just had, you are smiling, you are gracious, and you are appreciative. I always want to say you is kind, you is smart, and you is important. All right. So you're gracious, you're happy, you're appreciative. People are watching you, and it just may determine whether or not you get a future booking. Always help her make a list of everyone who didn't come to the party, so while it's still fresh in her mind, and set a target date to close the show. I also show her exactly where to click to add her items to her cart when she's ready to put in her order, so there's no questions. Then immediately after the party, change the end date on the Facebook event to reflect the closing date of the party, so everyone can still see the event until the party closes out. I continue to make posts on Facebook, on the Facebook party wall, to remind them to put in their orders with 2 more days to order, 1 more day to order, last day to orders, and with all the little pictures. And this will help you get another couple $100 in orders. You guys understand what I mean about changing the show time? Because I always put in the show date, Saturday at 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. But as soon as the party's over, just extend it to the day that you're closing. So that way the event will still show up in their events. All right. So your call to action. So print off the host coaching checklist and use it. Every host, every show, every time. Everybody said it with me here. I love it. All right. Listen to your director or / recruitee's host coaching. So you can listen in on the phone or see what she's sending. Ask her to email you when she emails out her host coaching. Tell her to email and put you in a Sublime carbon copy. We want you to make 15 contacts a week outside the show, also known as your power hour. After every show, we want you to fill in your 90-day tracker and call your director. I know your director loves to hear from you. I'm looking at all the people in my room. All right. And then do your Can I, which is the MP3, the host factor path to $1,000 show. It's on Consultants Corner under online training. And then at getting started, type in host in the search box and select the host factor path to $1,000 show. All right. So for some inspiration, few of us ever doubt that Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever to play the game of basketball. Of course, this is impossible. This is impossible with the born talent, but that isn't sufficient. Jordan was also the hardest worker with an impressive perfectionist attitude who kept on improving his game. What has triggered him to work harder than anybody else? Which sparkle gave him the determination to be the best? There's an interesting story about Michael Jordan described in a book on him called Michael Jordan, A Life Above the Rim. As a freshman in high school, Jordan joined his school basketball team in varsity. 1 year after joining the team, he was cut from the basketball team. But this only pushed him to work harder at perfecting his game. As he later described in his biograph, I think that not making the varsity team drove me really to work harder at my game and also taught me that if you set goals and work hard to achieve them, the hard work can pay off. I knew I never wanted to feel that bad again. I knew exactly where I wanted to go, and I focused on getting there. As I reached those goals, they built on one another, and I gained a little confidence every time I came through. I really believe that this event triggered Michael Jordan to become the best player ever. Without being cut from his high school team, I don't think we'd be discussing Jordan 15 years after his basketball career. So never give up. Host coaching takes practice. So just start today and make sure you do it. Every word, every step, every time. All right? So the only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. All right? So that is my presentation. I am ready to open it up for questions. Thanks, Susan, for the thumbs up. Does anybody have any questions for me? You can unmute yourself one at a time.
I do.
Who's that? Hi, Kim.
Hi. Okay, I wanted to clarify. Did you say that while you're doing a virtual event, you will also post those things in real time on your cooking show Facebook events?
Yes. So
I love that idea.
Well, I just figure, all those little posts that you're doing up to the virtual event, I will take and just anytime I'm posting those, here's a great blah, 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 blah. So in real time, like not like every single post, like, for that 1 hour, somebody wrote on the screen again, not for an hour, but that's so funny. What I will do is just anytime I'm posting anything on a virtual party, I just snag them and put them into the regular party. So, there's way more interaction because I'm posting all this cool stuff, and it may be stuff sometimes that I never ever get to talk about at a regular party. So it is really cool, Kim. They love it. By the time they get there, they've already seen several products in action. I thought your thumbs up. All right. Anybody else? I'm surprised Michelle doesn't have a question for me. I love Michelle. You always make me happy with your posts. Is she on the call? Is Michelle on the call? No? Anybody else have a question? So I was either extremely thorough or extremely boring.
I think I do. I really like your checklist for the refrigerator.
Yes.
Is that, you post that somewhere? I know you did it, but I've been trying to create something, but I haven't.
Yeah, your director has it. I gave them to each and every one of the directors so they can
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, Ginger. I hope it works good for you. I love it. I'm also talking to them, but I just love that they can see at a glance. And it just kind of keeps it in their face because I don't know about you, but I kind of visit the refrigerator regularly.
Yeah, except if they're stainless.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. So then they'll have to figure out something else. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, stainless is kind of hot right now. I don't have a stainless option. I'll have to come up with that. Maybe they'll have to do tape.
All right. Your washing machine. You probably do laundry a lot too.
Oh, there you go. Put it in the laundry room. Actually, all my kids are trained to do laundry. All right. Anybody else have a question? All right. Well, girls, make sure you do all your homework and make sure to let your director know that you were on this call. We love, love, love hearing from you. Oh, yeah, my girls are saying, good call. So I'm going to stop the recording, and we can't wait to hear from you in 2 weeks. Woo.